Hey, I'm back with another story time, part 5. Okay, so to pick off where we left, it was around August or September 2022. I ended up leaving my job before my 2 weeks was up because I put in my 2 weeks notice. I ended up leaving, I ended up moving to Georgia. So I ended up moving to Georgia with my homegirl, and she stayed all the way out in the boondocks in Gainesville, Georgia. So I moved out there, and that's when I was like that. I had just got monetized, and I was waiting for my my Facebook check. That was like $4,000 some dollars. All right, so I moved in with her, and we was out there, and then like I was working. I mean, I wasn't working, but I didn't even know that I could have been doing Uber Eats because I thought that you have to have a car insurance because at this time I had my cousin's car. My cousin lent me her car so that I'll have transportation, and she was gonna let me purchase it from her. So I didn't even know that I could do Uber Eats. I was fixed on the fact that you had to have the car and the insurance had to be in your name and all that stuff, but that wasn't the fact with Uber Eats. But with Lyft and Uber, yeah. But so yeah, I moved up there. We was she, I think, was she working then? I don't know if she, I think she had just stopped working at Amazon, and and we moved up there, and we said that we were gonna focus on our business, and I'm just like, she was gonna do half and I was gonna do half. So that's how we was coming together. And plus I still had money from my checks because I was working or whatever. I was like an assistant store manager. So moved up there, everything was going pretty good, and then my car ended up overheating and breaking down. So that was like the first sign. And then I think another thing was we moved every time. This is not our first attempt to move together, because this is the same friend that I moved in the house with, and this is the same friend that we've been friends since like 2008. I think we met in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. I think we met 2008. We've been friends ever since. And we always come up with these good ideas and good plans, but we never go into it with a plan. We just jump into stuff. So we didn't have it all mapped out, but we thought we did, because we was like, all right, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Not thinking that some things come up, not thinking that I wasn't gonna be without a car. So some things came up, and then like we're the type of people, we are too like how do I say, outspoken and strong. I can't think of the word right now, but we just bump heads a lot. We bump heads a lot. Even though we love each other, we just bump heads a lot because she have her way of doing things, I have my way of doing things. So we bump heads a lot. So things just started, like, you know, when things are not going your way, two people could be frustrated, and then y'all let it get the best of y'all. So at this point, it was like, she was like, we had paid, I had gave her my half of the rent for that month. Then later, like a couple weeks later, we decided that we were gonna move somewhere else. And downgrade. But by that time, I was like, okay, I kind of want to try to move into my own place, because I know I got my money coming, and that'll help me. And then she'll move into her own place, and she has 2 kids, so that'll help her, and it'll be less than what she was paying then. So she ended up moving. She ended up finding somewhere and ended up moving. It was a struggle, but she ended up finding somewhere and moving. And by the time I didn't find nowhere. because it was so much that I had to do. So I didn't find anywhere. And by this time, yeah, it was a lot of stuff that was into play for me. Like, I didn't find anywhere. So long story short, she ended up, I helped her end up moving into her apartment, and I helped her move into her apartment. And then after that, I went and lived in my car, which was broken down. Well, it wasn't running for real. So I was living in my car, at the Quick Trip in Gainesville. And I think she had moved to Duluth. I think it was Duluth. She ended up moving to Duluth, and I was still out in Gainesville or whatever, because my car couldn't make it anywhere. So, and it was freezing. So imagine it being freezing cold. I can't cut my car on because it's overheating. I could only go, and across the street was a Kroger. So that's where I would go to, like, use the restroom, brush my teeth and stuff like that. But I think I did that for like probably a week or two. It wasn't that long. I stayed in that car for a week or two. And when I tell you it was freezing, I never felt that. It was just, I didn't know how to feel, but it was freezing. My feet started swelling up from sitting in the car for so long like that. And I was just, and you know what? Even though I was in that predicament, I still was praying every single day. I was seeking God's face. I was believing that God was going to make a way out of no way. And all of these things, I'm like, God, and at this time, the reason I didn't receive my check on Facebook is because my payout info was incomplete, because it was under my name and I had to put Isha with the Bang as my business name. So that was like that, and Facebook was taking forever to respond. So it was so hard to get in contact with them to change my name and to redo the form. So it was so hard. And by this time, and I also when I was living in the car, I ended up filling out job applications. I ended up having an interview for a racetrack. So I had the interview for a racetrack. We did an online on call, face cam to cam interview, and she was like, yeah, because I applied for the one that was like close to where I was at in the car. So I'm like, oh yeah, good, I could apply for that. And I go there and I just park in their parking lot and just work until I get enough money to fix my car and da. So I had that game plan. And she told me, because you're applying for assistant manager, we have to send you to orientation in Cobb County. So I'm like, and I just had to be real with her. And I'm like, listen, I cannot, my car will not make it out there. I thought I was going to be, and I explained to her that. And she was just like, no, it's in Cobb County. She was like, now, if you want to step down a position, you could just fill out an application. I mean, I could just put your application in as like having you step down, and then you won't have to go all the way to Cobb County. She was like, but you will have to be able to make it to, I think it was it Flowery Branch? And I'm like, that's still not going to work for me. So I had to pass up that opportunity. And she was so nice, because she was just like, well, when you get yourself situated and get everything together, she was like, come back and I'll see what we have open for you. So that was amazing. Then after that, I was just like, I was bummed out, because I'm just like, I don't know what else to do. And then out of nowhere, one of my friends that stayed on the other side of Georgia, she hit me up. She was like, hey, how you doing, honey? Haven't heard from you in a while. I'm like, I'm doing good, da. And I explained to her, and she was like, I explained to her what was going on, and she was like, where you at? Cause we can't have that. She was like, I'm gonna see if I can find a ride out there, because I can't drive. My anxiety won't let me drive in that Atlanta traffic. And I was telling her how far it was, and she was just like, all right, let me see what we can do, because I've been told you I had an extra guest room at my house, and you are more than welcome to come. So she ended up she ended up saying, I'm gonna ask my daughter if she'll come bring me to pick you up with some of your stuff, and when she get off work. So I was like, please, please, please. And I said, tell her I'll pay her. So I had a little money or whatever. So what I did was, I sent her gas money to come get me after she got off work. They came, I just took everything out my car that I could take. I took most of the stuff out of my car that I could take to put in her car. And then I ended up going to their home, and she had the extra room, which I was so grateful. And y'all don't understand. In my long time, I cried like a baby, and that's because like I'm just like, God, God, I don't try to get over on nobody. I don't try to be mean to people. I'm just trying to make a living for myself, some stability. I'm just trying to do everything right. I'm like, God, I seek your face. I read your word. I pray. I'm doing all the things that I feel like I should be doing. Why do I always end up with the end of the stick? And it's just like, and then I just always hear voices and things that come to my spirit that just be like, what are you complaining for? The things that I'm preparing you for is setting you up for where you're going. Like, this is nothing compared to where you're going. Like, you got to understand that your problems are not going to stop. Your problems are not going to stop. So, and then it's just like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Like, it humbles you. It humbles you to be a 30-something-year-old man seem like he can't even get his life together. That's embarrassing to me. But I know at the end of the day, it's all going to pay off. And I know that God takes us through things so he could get the glory out of our life. So, but it was just embarrassing, embarrassing. So I end up moving in with them. I end up moving in with them, and then I end up I end up getting a job for Route 21. I end up getting the job for Route 21 as an assistant manager. And they were taking me to work, and by this time I had ended up getting in contact with Facebook, and I end up getting in contact with Facebook, and I end up getting that situated with my paperwork, my payout paperwork. So I did that. So they sent me the thing, the remittance of when I'll get my payment. So, and I think I got that. I think I got that around November. I think it was like around November, around about Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, somewhere around there. But I ended up doing that, and of course, my friend was charging me $300 to rent out the room. So I was gladly paying that. Like, I was gladly paying that $300 plus, helping with groceries and stuff like that. So that was nothing. And then once I got that Facebook check, I was just like, okay, think of a plan, think of an action plan. How can you bring more revenue or more income into this situation? Oh, and I also, once my car never got towed from the Kroger Plaza because it would not crank. So what I had to do was I end up calling a tow truck to tow it, and it was like a oil place, like in that same plaza, but like not even 0.2 miles. And they charged me like $100 and something to tow it from this side of the parking lot to this side of the parking lot. But I was like an hour and something away, so I couldn't get there to like even push it. And the tow truck was like, why you just didn't push it? Why you just didn't push it to the place? And I'm like, well, it was a long story because I didn't have the money to have it sitting at those people's business like that. So I got the car. I sent the car to the shop. And to get that fixed, to get the car fixed, that was like I think about 2,000 and something dollars. It was like 2,000 and something dollars. I don't even remember what was wrong with it. Something burst. Something burst. I think it was the head gasket. Something was wrong with the head gasket and something else. But it burst, and they charged me like 2,000 something dollars to fix that. So mind you, I was getting 4,000 and something from Facebook. Then I was like, how can I bring in more income? So the thought of me, that's how I end up coming up with my meet and greet. I was like, ooh, what if I do a meet and greet tour where I go to different cities where my supporters are, and I just host like a meet and greet. But I didn't want it to be a normal meet and greet. I wanted to be more intimate. I wanted to be where I could have it like a family night or a cousins retreat. You know, like it's for a couple of hours. Like I think it was from like 2 to 5 or 2 to 6, where I would rent out an Airbnb, cook, have games, have drinks, and then they come over there and we just spend the day together, like just chilling, laughing, making content, all that stuff. So I was like, okay, let me come up with that. And I was charging, my tickets was, I did my tickets $175, because it's just like, I was like, okay, I could do $175 because this is just gonna be like up close and personal, where we just chilling for hours and just unlimited footage. You don't have to just worry about getting one picture, sign something and go. No, we're chilling, we having fun. We just like, we spending the day, like we not the day together, but we spending those hours together and just, you know, like just hang it out. Like, come on now. And then I did that. My first one, I had written down all my top cities where all my supporters were. Cause it's funny when you do stuff and you be thinking like, oh, this is a great idea. You be like, this is a great idea. I know this gonna work. I know this gonna work. And then when you start promoting it and I'm a great promoter. When you start promoting it and then people just like, yeah. So when I went to Jacksonville, I think the first one was Jacksonville. I went to Jacksonville. One person showed up, and it was her birthday, and she showed up, and a couple of my people showed up that was helping me, and plus my cousin China, shout out to Life with China. She was my assistant during the whole thing. She would come to everyone, drive from Orlando, and she would help me set up. She would make sure everything was tidy and neat, and she just was so much of a help, and we worked so good together. I cannot wait to start it again. So I want to start it again. So one person showed up. It was her birthday weekend. I ended up finding out it was her birthday, but I didn't say nothing. So I ended up buying her a cake, and I think I got her a card. So we sung happy birthday to her and stuff, and she was so surprised because she did not know. And then at that time, we had so much fun. Even though it was only one person showed up, we still had a good time because it was something that we accomplished. It was something that I had written on paper and we made it a reality. Whether one person showed up or 1,000 people showed up, we still completed it. So she was going through a lot of stuff, so she was just like, I needed this, you don't understand. She was like, I just been going through a lot, and with I think it was her baby dad or her boyfriend, but she was just like, I needed this let out. And we was crying, we was laughing, we was dancing, we just had fun, we was eating, drinking, taking shots. It was fun. It was really, really fun. And then the second one, this was in, I think I did one in November, and I think I turned around and did one in December. I did one in January, because I think we probably skipped December. I did one in November, and I did one in January, because I think it fell on my actual birthday in January, and the second one was in Tallahassee. 2 people showed up, and by that time I had dropped the ticket price. I'm like, okay, let me drop the ticket price to like $75. and let's do buy one get one, like buy one ticket, bring a friend. So we did that. One person bought a ticket, she brought a friend, and again, I thought it was gonna be a success, but it was a success. I take that back. It was a success because when I tell you Tallahassee came through, she came, the person that came, her and her plus one, they were like real supporters. She came, she brought a cooler of I'm talking about a cooler of liquor. She made Jello shots. She had, they call her the Jello shot queen. Shout out to my cousin Amy. But yeah, she brought a whole cooler full of like liquor, Jello shots, everything. We had a good time. We made some food. My best friend came up. My cousin came from St. Cloud. Who else? Oh yeah, and China was there. You know, China was there. And our birthdays, like we both celebrated our birthday that weekend because her birthday is the 23rd. My birthday was the 6th. So, you know, Capricorn thing. So we celebrated our birthday together. It was just so much fun. We had a good time. We played games. We played like the card game, Dare Drink, something like that. But we had a good time. And that was good. That was good. And then after that is when I went back, because my friend went with me the first time, but she didn't go with me this time. So when I went back this time, she was like, hey, Chester said, I ain't saying no names, but she said her husband was saying like, hey, tell Kareem he has like to the end of this month to find him somewhere to go or whatever, to find him a place or whatever. So I was like, okay, no problem. So I'm just like, I'm working, and then I got my check. I'm like, okay, I got to make this work or whatever. But I was just out, and then I guess, I don't know if it was because, what else it was? It was something that she said. She was like, cause he feel like he's spending unnecessary money doing these meet and greets and nobody's really showing up. So I'm like, okay, I gotta take that. You know what? I gotta take that. I ain't gonna really, I can't argue because this person's house. So I'm like, you know what? I gotta take that. Even though I was, you know, my plan, like people don't understand your vision. My vision was let me try to do this and let me see if this is gonna bring me more income. It wasn't about me splurging or having a good time or just, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's okay. And then she just kept apologizing. I'm like, you don't have to apologize. It's okay. She was like, no, I'm just so sorry. Like, I'm like, it's okay. I'm fine. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. This is not my first rodeo, like with people being like that or whatever. So by that time, I was like, okay. And I was still paying what I owe, even when they were saying, hey, can you give us the money, or do you have the money to give it to us early because da da da? And I was like, yeah, I do got it here or whatever. And they was like, okay, thank you so much. And even like extra, like if I had, like even if it wasn't time and they needed extra, I was like, here or whatever, because you know. And he was like, I'll pay you back. I'm like, okay, cool. Like that was no problem. Like I'm not looking for no handouts. I'm not looking for no handouts. So it's just like, so long story short, I end up looking for a place. Things started getting real hectic over there because it was just like I would hear him like arguing with her about me, saying certain stuff. Like every time he get mad at her, they start arguing, and I hear him saying certain stuff about me, and it's just like it was weird. And then when I turn around, you're like, hey, how you doing? And it was weird, and I was just like, yeah, this energy was like. It wasn't, I don't like that type of energy. So long story short, I end up finding a place. I end up getting approved. It was back in Duluth. So I had to, and I was like, by this time, I got my car back. By this time, I end up getting my car back. And I end up getting the car back, and I end up putting in my 2 weeks notice at Route 21 because I was moving to the other side of Georgia, and I was going to try to work it, but it was just like, I didn't trust my car like that. I didn't trust my car like that. So I'm just like, nah, you know what? If anything, and I started doing Uber Eats. I started doing Uber Eats. No, I started doing that's how I started doing DoorDash. I started DoorDash, and I was doing DoorDash my last 2 weeks of working at Route 21. I moved, and then I ended up moving into my apartment in Peachtree Corners. So I ended up moving over there, and I'll give y'all the rundown on that. I'm gonna wrap up this story right now. But that was 20, and this was the year of, I was going from 2022, and this is 2023. So this is 2023 around March or April 2023. So I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all next go around. This is part 5. I'll see y'all in part 6. Let's go.